Hello, brothers and sisters of light and dark. Welcome to my page. My page is about common sense. I try to keep it down under the nitty gritty under 10 minutes. And if it goes over 10 minutes, it's something very important. And not important to liberals, libertards, people who believe in God, people who are sensitive, people who are basically 80% of you. You're going to disagree with me because I'm older and you didn't have a father figure who was an alpha. So you're going to disagree because I tell people all the time the common factor truth. If you have any comments, questions, insults, or roast fest, you put it down below. And of course, let's begin with the topic for today. So today's topic will be about how a woman can be feminine, okay, instead of a evil feminist, okay. And in my past, I have taught many women. Spoke to many women, but I know by fact, okay, that most of them will not listen to me. Even in the 80s into the 90s, I tried to use common sense with them and talk to them the certain things that they were teaching their daughters because I was a babysitter. Yes, I was watching a lot of kids in my past, lots of kids. I did multitudes of different things just by checking my credentials down below. I was an artist, I'm a masseuse, okay, I'm a babysitter, I'm a rent-a boyfriend, which nobody really talks about, which is kind of strange, okay? But of course, I do services for you women to give advice. But now, I see on the internet that there are women who actually do the same thing. What I did way back in the 80s and the 90s when I was talking to women. But I do charge now. I don't do no further free advice. But I will give some free advice tidbits here and there to help you women out. But let me tell you a few things of how to be feminine, okay? Because I talk about all sorts of things, okay, to help women and men. I also teach polyandry and polygyny at the same time. I teach a multitudes of different things for women so they can understand how to find the proper man. And let me give you some good advice for most of you women. There are so many more virgin men out there than fucking women. Okay, even though there's more women in the world than men, 2 to 1, whatever. Okay, overall, it's so easy to find good men. Okay, and what happens is that women's standards have been raising over the years. Okay, but I don't think it'll ever drop because of this materialistic plane we're living in where guys is just simping for the prostitutes all of the time. But if you want real advice, you know how to follow me on my Patreon. You know how to get in touch with me to get an idea of who I am in my Facebook, and it's down below. But if you really want to be feminine, overall, you're going to have your virginity. To be feminine means to keep your virginity sacred. Okay, once you have lost that virginity, no alpha. And as I said before, an alpha is a person whose standards is so high that women do not like alphas. In modern day times, people think they see an alpha as someone through appearances, but that's not an alpha because I'm old here and I was raised in the 80s and 90s, taught by pimps and some Italians. So I know what the fucking words mean. I know what the goddamn terminology of simp means, which means suckers investing in mediocre pussy, which means used. A lot of guys these days, they think a simp is a trick, okay? They get the terminologies mixed up, and sometimes they just make up their own little terminologies, like sigmas and sigma by gatas and alpha, and we call it sigmas, gammas, uh, etc. Okay, they just make up their own little terminologies. Okay, there's only 3 types of males out there, but I digress here. So to be feminine is to humble yourself before the king. Okay, if that word king irks you, you need a lot of education. Okay, or father, or lord, okay, or to serve. If subservience sounds like a difficult word or terminology, I'm sorry. You didn't have a father figure. It's not your fault. I have daughters myself, okay? I teach my daughters that she will control who the sister wives will be when they do find that king. And on top of that, I will not recommend my daughters to talk to any American man anyway. But of course, especially if they're really attracted to them. I always tell women all the time, fall for your type. So if you're a fatty patty, you should fall for a man who's a fatty patty, correct? So you shouldn't be looking for too much. If you're a woman who's seeking wealth in the man, okay, you already lost that battle. You lost. you're already lost. This is why I teach women great advice. As you get a chance to know me in my personal inbox, and you don't come off as fresh or as a diva or an alpha bitch, okay, then we can talk. But if you haven't been trained, you have to humble yourself and take pointers. I do far more advice for multitudes of different things for people who are single mothers and everything, how to turn their life back, how they turn their life around, and etc. and etc. But to be feminine, truthfully, is to be subservient. There's no other way around that. And if it's so hard for you to do that, and you become narcissist or expecting something, you have already lost that battle by 70%. We already know by fact that women initiate women initiate divorces by 70%. This is because they're not properly trained. Alphas do not get married. Like a brother like me, who basically believes in virginity and polygyny, you're not going to find too many guys like that. And it's best for you women who do have kids to accept polygyny as your final offer. Now, if you don't want to accept that, I'm sorry. But you can do something called polyandry, okay, if you got a lot of money to take care of those men. I teach women how to do that all the time. I even teach women how to travel overseas, okay, to do the things that I do and vice versa. I'm not one-sided, and I'm not Kevin Samuels, because I'm a real therapist, because I actually talk to people, hundreds of them. And of course, Kevin Samuels started off because of a popular fucking viral video. I don't need that, okay? I do my shit behind the scenes, babies. But to become a feminine individual female, okay, you have to be subservient. You have to serve him with what his wishes are. And men are so low maintenance, so easy to deal with. So easy. But there are evil women who take advantage of good guys, okay? The average guy is not looked at as a proper father figure or anything during these days, because if you see a man working at McDonald's, you think he's a terrible person to be with you, and that's wrong. That's been happening for eons of time. Lilith and the Jezebel has always existed for eons of time. But to be a feminist is not really a bad thing if you think about equal pay, but you shouldn't be forcing anything, because who's hiring you, okay? And 9 times out of 10, if you're getting hired, they always stipulate those rules when you first start anyway, okay? If you feel you're not being paid enough, you should get another job, that's all. And if they want to keep you, then they'll raise your price, right? But y'all women don't know how to negotiate. You don't know how to use the simps, okay? You don't know how to use the tricks. So instead, you get on their nerve. You even fuck up the tricks and the simps. Y'all fuck up everything for yourselves. That's fucked up. You'll fuck with like one simp here, you cheat with this simp over here, and one thing leads to another. You have no control and no idea what to do with simps to keep the money going into your pockets. Because the biggest pimps out there are women. I know that. That's a fact. But you can't pimp an alpha. You can't pimp an alpha at all. Sorry to burst your bubble. High value men are most of the biggest beta alpha males out there who will simp for anything. A man's high value is not determined by the money he makes. It's the things that he do, okay? The things that he say, all right? And when he says things, you are under his strict command. If you don't like to listen to commands, or you don't like to listen to someone who likes to give you instructions to things, then you already lost. And that's why you got to come to me, okay? I'm not interested in being popular like Kevin Samuels, baby. I got a couple seats waiting and ready for all of you people out there, okay? That's why I got a Patreon. And though I may seem cringy on some of my videos, I do that intentionally, okay? I gotta seem cringy. I don't want all that attention. I got some of my channels pulled down for me being original, okay? And just some people on YouTube just don't like me, okay? But I've already explained the difference between being a fucking Nawalt, a unicorn, and a feminist. Because a unicorn is a virgin, okay? If you're a virgin, okay, then you are already halfway there, okay, to a man's heart forever. And if you already believe in polygyny, you already almost at 100%, okay? But if you're a goddamn diva or someone who hasn't been raised right, you got lots to learn. So come to me, and you know where to find me at. And of course, I've spoken about how to be a feminine and how to be a good feminist. I talked about the unicorn too, because I'm not your average man. I'm not Yo, Peter Pan. It's under 10 minutes. I hope you learned something in this video, goddammit. Peace.